Hey crafty friends, it's Joy here. Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited you're here today. The other day on my New Year's card video, I talked about bringing other crafts into my channel. So today is going to be my first video doing something else besides cards. Don't worry, my channel is still going to be mainly cards, but there's other things that I want to do, so I'm going to bring that in. I really love alcohol inked backgrounds. I love playing with alcohol inks, and I really wanted to turn that into something else other than just cards. Also, I've had my Cricut for, well, I've had a Cricut forever, but my new one for like 2 or 3 years, and I have not, I think I've used it once or twice. So I want to really use my Cricut. That has been on my mind. I do want to get into vinyl at some point. I haven't yet, but I'm going to try that for sure. So those were my ideas. I created a really fun canvas for you today, and I'm so excited to share that with you. I did want to mention that I am in a partnership right now with Creative Fabrica, which is really hilarious because the timing of them asking me to partner with them was after I already was thinking about doing these things. So I ended up using some of their files on my Cricut for this project. So I'll talk a little more about that during the video, but it just was fantastic timing, so I knew it was absolutely meant to be. So let me show you what I made. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Look at how cute this is. Here, let me back up a little. Look at how cute that is. I love it, you guys. Alcohol inks, 3D flowers, and this is not vinyl because I was a little too scared to start that yet, but I'll get into that. Okay, enough talking. Let's get to the doing, and yeah, let's get going. So this is a 10 by 10 canvas. I believe I ordered a pack of these from Amazon, but obviously you could probably go to any craft store and get something like this, and it doesn't even have to be this same size, but that's what I decided to use. So we're going to start with the alcohol inking first, of course, and what you need to make sure is when you're doing a canvas, it needs to be already prepped, like with gesso, which usually when you buy them from the store, they are already like that. So I'm laying down the alcohol ink without any alcohol at first. I want to do this, and then I'm drying it in between each layer. So the first color was, okay, let me make sure I got this right. Peach Bellini, then Coral, Patina. This next one will be Limeade. The blue one will be Monsoon, and then the purple one will be Boysenberry. And these are all Tim Holtz Ranger Ink alcohol inks. I am using a blow dryer, and I will have everything listed and linked for you guys below, so that way you can, if you want to recreate this or whatever, you guys are able to do so. So there's that pretty Monsoon. It is so dark, but once you add the alcohol, it's so not that dark. It's really super pretty. Some of these other colors, the coral, I felt like needed a little bit more. So that's what I'm kind of using as like my reddish color, even though it turned out to be more pink. So I created my flowers accordingly. So I'm getting ready to add my piñata brass. Now I will say, next time I will not do it this way. I just added a line and then I let it dry. What I would do next time is each little section that I'm working on, which you'll see here in what I mean in just a minute, I will just add that brass piñata each time I'm working in a section instead of adding it now, because I had to loosen it up with my finger, which is not the end of the world, but it made it a little difficult. So I'm adding a tiny bit of alcohol, and I'm just using my little hand air tool thing here to push it down. And then as you can see, I'm putting my finger in to kind of loosen up that brass piñata. Don't be afraid to do that if some of your alcohol inks are just kind of blobbed there. You can move it with your fingers and it'll move. So when I first started doing this, at first I was like, I don't love this. I want more. I want this to go further. So in a minute, I really get that figured out. I definitely needed to add more alcohol, and then I kind of made a line with it instead of just a little spot here. And as I went along, it got better, but all of it turned out absolutely gorgeous. And then I love that when you got to the colors that were overlaying one another, then you get more of a mix of colors. So this line you can see here worked out great. I'm going to push that one down further. And so when it went all the way to the bottom of the canvas, even though it looks like it's at the top right now, it was just easier to work this way. It looks so pretty. Look at how lovely that looks. This is just, I love alcohol inks, you guys, and I was just in heaven. It's so relaxing to me. And this was so much fun with these colors. So there's that line of alcohol. I'm using 99% alcohol. And I'm going to do that again over here. One more big line, and then I can push that ink right into it. And look at how much better that already looks. Now, I will say when you're working on a canvas, you probably need a little bit more alcohol in general to let the alcohol ink move a little bit better. When there's the alcohol, it moves great. When there's not, it doesn't move as good. Like if you were doing it on Yupo paper, you could probably have a little less alcohol because that surface is smooth. This is still a little bumpy because it's a canvas, but it still works out great. Okay, let's just keep going down this line. Isn't this so pretty? Like, I'm in love with this project, and I'm so glad that it turned out how I had it planned in my mind. And I will say I think it's even prettier than what I thought in my mind. You know, you can think about your projects and you hope it's going to turn out, and in your mind you're like, that seems like that would be easy. Most of the time my projects don't turn out like that. Not that they turn out bad, they just turn out different. This one turned out great. So I'm getting down to the end of the line here. Now, where I did that Monsoon blue before this Boysenberry, there ends up being kind of where the Boysenberry and the blue mix, there ends up being kind of what I thought looked like a blob. Now, I'll be honest, I should have left it, but I decided I was going to mess with it and then instantly regretted it, but I was able to fix it enough. So right here, I'm starting to push and I went, oh no, it's ruining it. I just didn't like, because the rest of it's kind of soft at the bottom, and that has a line that's right now on the right that I don't love. So I'm trying to fix it a little bit more, and I just realized, stop what you're doing, you're making it worse. This is where I realized, stop what you're doing. So I brought my finger in to kind of push out the alcohol because it was making circles, and I didn't want that. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to bring in the alcohol into my container, use a little paintbrush, and try to get rid of this line. That was not working. That was making it worse. So what I did to fix it was I got a paper towel and added a little bit of the alcohol to it and just gently wiped, and you'll see how quickly that just softens that line right there. And then I left the rest of it alone. And I actually ended up really liking the rest of it, but I just gently dabbed and wiped down, and you can see that line went away. So, phew, problem diverted, because that I was like, oh no, what'd I do? Okay, this sat to dry for a really long time. I can't remember if it was overnight. I think it was overnight. But I went and got some acrylic paint pens. I just ran up to Walmart and got some acrylic paint pens, and I got a gold one. I'm using my T ruler because I want to cover this top part. It's going to be covered by the flowers, but I want like a solid band. So I thought I would bring in the gold, and I'm just using my T ruler to make a straight line, and I was having a heart attack the whole time because I'm like, don't mess it up, don't mess it up. Then I'm going to make another line at the top, and then we can just fill this in and color it with that paint, acrylic paint marker. Now be careful, if you push down on the nib, it'll just flood the paint out, which would be horrible. And the whole time I was thinking about that, I'm like, don't press down. So I didn't, and it was successful. I sped this up like crazy just so you can see the coloring. Now, I will say that some of the alcohol ink did bleed through this. It didn't matter for this project. So the areas that were really thick up there at the top will bleed through. I didn't put a second coat on this, so maybe a second coat after this dried, maybe that would have gone away. I also did color down the sides, so you had a nice band across the front and the sides. Okay, let's get to the Cricut. I haven't used this in forever, like I told you, and I am die cutting these rolled flowers. These are by the Digital Crafty Fox. These are on Creative Fabrica. I will have them listed and linked for you below. and there is a ton of flowers in this download. I picked one flower. I want to keep that the same, but in different colors. So I'm going to do this 6 times. And again, the flowers are measured 6 by 6. You just do that in the Cricut software. I'm hoping that in the future I can get like the desktop recording or the software recording so I can show you what I'm doing with this. So that is kind of a plan in my future to get that figured out. So I just peeled back the paper, so like the negative space, and then I'm just peeling this off nice and easy, just using my hand. It looks so funny, but these rolled flowers, you guys, are so fun. If you've never done them, they're super, super easy. So I did this from white cardstock because I wanted to make sure that my ink blending was close to the alcohol ink colors. So I am using Simon Says stamp ink. This is Cantaloupe. Then I'm going to use Watermelon, Surf, Limelicious, Royal, and Amethyst. And I'm started with a little blender brush. That was going to take me a million years. I'm using the big one, and you do need to ink the both sides. And you can tell I am not being like super particular on the inking. I don't mind that some are darker than others. I actually think that that looks better. It's going to give it the slightest variation once we get these rolled up. Okay, then the next color is the Watermelon. I started with a different color and I'm like, this is the wrong pink. This doesn't look like a corally orange pink. And that's right about here. I'm like, this is just not it. I pulled my project in, looked at it, and I thought, no. So that's when I brought in the Watermelon. I didn't cut another one of these. I just went right over it. It totally worked just fine. So again, I'm going to ink both sides using a bigger blender brush. Makes it super, super easy because it kind of spills over into the next layer. So I think it took me 15 minutes to ink blend all 6 of these. I think that's what it was. It wasn't too bad. And that's with cleaning my work surface and getting out the new ink and all that kind of thing. Again, these are Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated inks. This is Surf. This is one of my favorite colors. I love it. I love it. I love it. It is the match to the Patina alcohol ink from Tim Holtz and Ranger ink. Again, just blending around. And I really didn't have a problem with bending those little pieces of the flower. Like I was a little worried about it. I didn't blend in a circle. I kind of put the brush down and gave it a twist outward and then brought it back down in a twist outward, if that makes sense. Like your arm, like if you're right-handed, your arm is going to go to the right. If you were left-handed, it would go to the left. Because I think if you did try to blend in a circle, that would absolutely be a huge problem. I think your paper would tear, and that is a no-go. All right, here is the Boysenberry. No, this is the Amethyst. Boysenberry, I'm thinking, is the alcohol ink. This is the Amethyst, and then the last one is the Royal. So let's finish blending these. Oh, I did want to bring up about the deal, and I will have a link for that below. Creative Fabrica has over 6 million fonts and designs, which include a commercial license. Obviously, it works with the Cricut. I think it works with the Silhouette. So I can give you guys a 1-month free trial, up to 10 downloads. After the 10th download or after 1 month, the subscription renews at only $9. And that's like a 70% discount from like the normal $29, and you can cancel anytime. So if that's something you want to do, click on that link below. Okay, I'm going to roll these flowers. I started with like a little stick, I can't think of what it's called right now, a skewer, just to get it started. Then you can see I'm holding the top and bottom with my right hand while I'm rolling it with my left. That's to keep it even. So holding the top and bottom is important because once you do that, it rolls really, really nicely. Then you'll see that big circle at the bottom. That's actually to glue the bottom together. So you could use hot glue with this. I did not feel like getting out my hot glue gun, so I just used my Bearly Art Glue. I did try to open it and loosen up a little bit because it was a little tight. So something I noticed is that circle on the bottom is going to tell you basically the size that the bottom of your flower needs to be. So if you roll it really tight, it's going to be a little too small. So open it up and let it relax a little. So I'm going to add that Bearly Art glue. I like this glue because it's liquid. You can move it for a second, but then it sticks really good. So I'm going to put that down in place, hold it together for just, I think just a few seconds, and then I put it aside, and then I started on the next one. So I'm going to show you rolling one more flower. It's super simple, and at first though I was like, where do you start? I thought I was going to start in the center. That's not true. Okay, let's do one more. So again, I have my skewer. I'm just going to start that center going around. Just a few turns, take it out. Then again, holding the flower with my pointer and my thumb, so on the top and the bottom, while my left hand is just rolling it. So it's pretty loose in between my fingers, but I'm holding it together so it doesn't go all kinds of wonky, because it will. I tried rolling it a few different ways. To me, this was the best way for myself. Obviously you could do something different. Then let it loosen up a little bit, add the glue to that little bottom large circle, push that down, hold it in place for a few seconds, and then you've got your flowers. All right, so now once they are dry, once that bottom's dry, now you can fluff these out and you want to, and they turned out so cute. I love these. So I'm gonna fluff these out, line them up with my colors, and you guys can see how this is going to come together. So I'm starting kind of with the outside, flattening it a little bit more, working to the inside. And I will get more detailed with that with my tweezers because some of the inner ones, because I think they're rolled so tightly, tend to kind of stick together a little bit more. I'm also going to adhere this down with some score tape. You also could do some hot glue, but again, I was being lazy, so I didn't do hot glue. And then with my tweezers, you could see that I was just kind of fluffing out the center. Sorry, my head's in the way. I was making sure everything was level across that gold strip. So see, you're not going to see it, but you will see that gold strip on the side of the canvas. So I know you really can't see it, but I know it's there, and I love the gold. But look at how pretty these colors match the alcohol ink. I am so in love with this project. Okay, now I'm going to fluff out the centers, kind of separate some of the little pieces that are hooked together and really kind of fill out the flowers. Push some of those down. Really super simple and easy to do. And your pointy tweezers work perfect for this. Just making sure that they're nice and full. And then we can get to our sentiment. Now, like I said before, I'm thinking about doing vinyl. For some reason, it feels scary to me, and I don't even know why, but I did not do vinyl today. We did, I used the Hello Honey font on the Creative Fabrica site. This is by EF Studio. Again, I will have that link for you below. And I kind of did it. I'll have to show you guys when I can get that software for the computer. I'll have to show you, because there's two kinds of fonts. So you have the little pieces at the front and at the back that kind of go long, and the sentiment is 9.5 inches long, and you kind of have to create that. So the C and the E are two separate entities, and then the rest of the word, the REAT, is another separate entity, and I welded them together in Cricut to create this full sentiment. So again, I'll have to do that and show you later. I know it sounds complicated to me, but it wasn't. And if I haven't done this in forever, it's easy. I actually did cut this 3 times thinking I was going to stack them like I do on my cards, but I did not. I ended up just using one, mainly because those little pieces that come off the sides are super thin, and I did not feel like lining them up. I just used my tool-in-one to gently not scratch my mat, but pick this up. And it's so pretty. So let's adhere this. I've got my reverse tweezers and my Bearly Art glue. And I'm just going to add some liquid glue to this, just like I would on a card. I'm just bringing my card making into this other little crafty area. I kind of don't know how else to do it. So I already did play around of where I want it centered. I'm lining it up, and look at how pretty. It's so delicate, and that gold mirror cardstock is stunning. It doesn't show up in pictures well though, which is a bummer, but on the video you guys will be able to see just how pretty that is. Look at that. This really was an easy project, you guys. It was so simple. So remember, everything is listed and linked below. If you guys want to do that offer, I do have affiliate links with that, but it does not cost you guys anything. So if you want that link is also down below for you guys. Thank you so very much for watching. I'm so excited about this project, and I hope that you really enjoyed it. Okay, you guys, have a wonderful day, and I'll be back soon with another video. Bye.